evening, everybody. If you could kindly find a seat so we can start the evening's festivities. Good evening. My name is Jack Suswack, and I'd like to thank you all for coming to tonight's Ward 1 debate between the incumbent Wayne Losey and his challenger Debbie Plunkett. Thank you both for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Obviously, such an undertaking wasn't done overnight. And so before we begin, I'd like to thank a few people who worked tirelessly to make this event happen. Lou Markakis, Jordan Avery, Jay Anderson, Mary Ellen Palermo, David Riley, Sean Leonard, everybody at the Knights of Columbus, Valdoin Council number 70, and all of our fine sponsors. First, I'd like to thank Ralph Sevenor at Wayne Alarm Systems, who stepped up to the plate first and who was always here for us to support good civic causes for the community. John's Roast Beef of Lynn, an icon in the city, great food. I want to thank you to the Toster for always stepping up to help us to make the city better. I'd also like to thank Gene Clements at Clements Realty Group. He has 2 offices, one in Peabody and one in here in the city of Lynn. So check him out for all your real estate needs. Brothers Deli of Lynn, one of the finest places to see. Everybody knows George Marcos. He's here for everybody, and he does so much for the community. And that's here in Lynn on Market Street. Bill Travasio, mailboxes and much more. He was instrumental in helping make the posters and the programs that everybody should have. If you don't have one, there's some in the back tables. And also, Lou Markakis, who has been a big help of the planning and the logistics of this event. Also, not last week, but also I'd like to thank Salvi Migliaccio and all the staff at Salvi the Florist for the beautiful set you see right in front of us. Thank you very much for that. It's wonderful. Check out his business here in Lynn. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Brittany from LynnCAM for helping film here tonight. Self-album for LynnHappens.com. Demetrios from Peabody Access TV. And that's all the thank yous. I also would like to acknowledge the following candidates and elected officials that are here. And if I missed anybody, please acknowledge yourself at the end. But as of now, I know Clay Walsh, Council for at-large candidate. Rick Starboard, School Committee. I believe I saw Patty Capano, also the School Committee. Yeah, Patty's here. I also saw a candidate for School Committee, Melissa Romanello. And are there any other candidates that are in the building? What? Also, Council at Large, Hong Net. Thank you all for coming. And before I get off the stage, sorry. So I'd like to, on the programs, feel free to keep your programs at the end of the debate, but if you want to leave it, you can leave it at your chair. We can recycle them for the next debate because we might have a lot of people for the next round. Anyway, I'd like to turn it over to our moderator, Sean Leonard, the editorial page editor of the Daily Item, who will go over the rules and the format. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Jack. And I have to correct one thing. I'm probably the only one who really didn't work tirelessly on this. I came up with a few questions today, that's about it. But Jack put all this together with his team, and for the turnout, pretty impressive. And I just want to go over a little bit of just the ground rules real quickly here. Councilor Losey won the coin toss for the opening statement. Then Ms. Plunkett will give her opening. And then we're going to have posed questions that each candidate will have an equal opportunity to respond to, up to 2 minutes. Don't have to use all the time. And then we're going to try and save a little bit of time toward the end for to see if you want to ask one another a question. And then the final segment will be a karaoke section. No, I'm just kidding on that. So without further ado, I do want to clarify one thing too here. I think I was invited here tonight because I truly am impartial. This really is not sponsored in any way by the Daily Item. Obviously, we're concerned with all the races in the city, not just Ward 1 and the mayor's race, but certainly appreciate the chance to moderate and participate in this forum tonight. So with that, Councilor Losey, you have 2 minutes to make an opening statement as to why you'd like the voters to return you as Ward 1 Councilor.
Thank you, Sean. I want to thank Jack Suslak and the panel for making this happen. My name is Wayne Losey. I'm the current Ward 1 City Councilor. I was born and raised in Lynn. I married my wife Kathy, and we've raised our family here. I've attended Lynn Public Schools as our children have. I am currently a 23-year employee of the Mass Department of Environmental Protection. I'm a former employee of the City of Lynn. I was also the former chairman of the Lynn Planning Board, the Lynn Conservation Commission, and I'm currently the chairman of the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission as the City Council representative. I've been serving as Ward 1 Councilor for the last 10 years. And I feel I've accomplished a lot in the last 10 years as councilor. And it includes working with our state legislators to secure $5.5 million to improve Wyoming Square down to Flax Pond. I've also sponsored and successfully had the governor sign an anti-dumping bill. I've helped secure public grants and private funds to undertake major improvements to parks. I've spearheaded a successful goose addling program for both Flax and Sluice Pond and Gannon Golf Course. I'm bringing renewable energy to Lynn. We're going to see a wind turbine on the Lynnway in the next month. I am running for re-election because we must not lose momentum. And I need to continue to advocate for more positive results in Ward 1. I enjoy this job. I feel like I'm doing a good job, and I want to continue that. So I would ask, please support me in this re-election November 5th. Thank you.
Ms. Plunkett, your chance to tell the voters why you should be elected Ward 1 Councilor.
Thank you. I want to thank the Knights of Columbus for having this tonight. Thank you, Sean Leonard, for monitoring. I'm thrilled to be here tonight. My name is Debbie Plunkett, and I would be honored to serve as your next Ward 1 City Councilor. My decision to embark upon a career in local government was influenced by two forces in my life. The first was my family. I was brought up in a family committed to public service. Secondly, I've been inspired by the increasing presence of women in government throughout the Commonwealth. While raising my two sons, DJ and John, I was very involved with numerous community services, most recently breast cancer awareness and the Veterans Appreciation Day Parade Committee. Giving back to the community is something I've done my entire life, and now is the time in my life that I can do that on a full-time basis. As a homeowner, a parent, and a taxpayer in Lynn, I share the same concerns as my neighbors do, and together, chatting at everyone's front door at Ward 1 and at neighborhood coffees, we developed my platform. My platform is to improve constituent services and to deliver services in a timely fashion. Economic development throughout the entire city, and of course our waterfront. Keeping our parks clean and safe, and the renovation and rebuilding of our schools, which is top-notch. Top-notch schools will bring families into Lynn and keep them here. I am passionate about the city that I grew up in, where I raised my family, and where I call my home. I will bring honesty, integrity, respect, an open mind, and a strong work ethic to the Lynn City Council. The job of a councilor should not be taken lightly. I will be available, accountable, and accessible for the entire 24-month term of the ward councilor. I thank you for being here tonight, and it is my wish to earn your respect, your support, and your vote on Tuesday, November 5th. I thank you.
Thank you. With that, let's go to the first question. And I guess we'll pose the question first to Ms. Plunkett. Could you share your thoughts on the Boulder Ward development and its potential effect on Ward 1, specifically the prospect of Sunset Road opening to through traffic, the development?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Your thoughts about the Boulder Ward development and how it might affect Ward 1, specifically the prospect of Sunset Road opening up to provide through traffic for the development?
Boulderwood development was approved by the city of Peabody in the late 2007 year. The Boulderwood development was signed off by the City of Lynn Planning Board on January 15th, 2008. I will make sure, as your next Ward 1 counselor, that the developer complies with all of the requirements that have been placed upon this project. If the developer of Boulderwood does not meet these requirements in any way, I will be standing with the neighbors in that area, and I will be prepared to take whatever action is necessary to ensure compliance.
Councilor Lozey, stand up.
Just for clarification, now, do I get, how much time to answer?
2 minutes.
2 minutes,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Okay, I would just like to say, in regards to the Boulderwood subdivision, I have been opposed to that subdivision, which is located in Peabody, Mass, for the last 10 years. That has deeply affected the quality of life of Ward 1 residents. I have here a stack of complaint forms just from blasting. These are complaints about broken shower doors, pitches falling off the wall. I have received literally dozens of complaints about blasting. I have received hundreds of complaints in total from this, from large 18-wheel trucks driving through dead-end streets that were formerly dead-end streets in Lynn. This is affecting the overall quality of life of Ward 1 residents, that I'm going to look out for their interests. And I think right away, my opponent and I disagree, and I have here in front of me her campaign finance report. And in here, what we have is, there's a name, one name I'll give, Peter McNamara from Leominster. When you donate more than $250, you have to list your vocation. Peter McNamara is the owner-operator of Explosive Technologies Incorporated. So I would have to ask my opponent in her rebuttal how she can support and stand up for the residents of Ward 1 if these are her friends, the developer, the people like this Mr. Peter McNamara, who may be a nice guy, but he's the blaster upsetting dozens of Ward 1 people. There's going to be over 100,000 cubic yards of ledge that's going to be blasted and removed from when it started. There's been numerous complaints, and all I can say is there's additional problems. There are some parts of Boulderwood that continue to remain in Lynn that need and require permits in Lynn.
Mr. Plunkett, I'm going to veer from the rules just a minute and see if you want a 30-second rebuttal to that. If there's any.
I would love a rebuttal to that.
Okay, I'll give you
Thank
30
you very
seconds,
much.
please.
All right, I will make it quick. I have received donations to my campaign from the developer of Boulderwood. I have received donations from business owners, from family, from friends, from neighbors, from Ironworkers Local 7, from the New England Carpenters Union Local 26, and the Lynn Police Department. I am receiving these donations because people believe in me in my campaign. I'm glad Councilor Lozey brought up donations. December 17, 2004, donation was made to Councilor Lozey by the developer of Boulderwood by David J. Solomini. February 15, 2005, a donation was made to Councilor Lozey. September 7th, it's a long list, sorry. A donation was made to Councilor Lozey by the developer of
We can let you
Boulderwood.
return to that if you want. You can use your time any way you
There's a lot of
see fit.
donations, we can get back to
We're going to go on to the next question. Route 129 obviously is a major thoroughfare through into and out of Lynn. In January of 2012, you all may remember there was a fatal hit and run, unfortunately still unsolved. They killed a 68-year-old city woman who stepped off a bus and into a crosswalk. Since that time, have there been sufficient changes in terms of signage and traffic enforcement on Linfield Street? Councilor Lozey, why don't you take that one first?
Thank you, Sean. That was a very tragic incident over a year ago. An elderly woman was struck and killed on the crosswalk in front of Union Hospital. All of Linfield Street remains to be a safety issue. We recently have the light at Millard Ave, which has irritated a lot of people. However, it was one of the most dangerous intersections in the city of Lynn. And in my opinion, the inconveniences caused are worth saving lives. in answer, in response to your question about signage, I did immediately was in contact with Representative Don Wong, who is the state rep for this area, regarding that crosswalk. I requested, it's now the Department of Transportation, Mass Highway, to go out, take a look. They put additional signage. We're requesting for additional thermoplastic painting that will make the visibility greater. And we've also spoken with the hospital and asked them to make both their employees and their patients very much aware of the hazard of Lynnfield Street. Tragedy to be sure, and we hope that it doesn't happen again.
Plunkett?
On regards to signs, I'm not a member of Lynn City Council, so I can say as a candidate, if elected, I will ensure that there's proper signage wherever there is needed. I've been knocking on doors in Ward 1, and I do hear from people that are very upset. They ask for signs, slow children signs. Many residents have asked for those, have not yet received them. They've been waiting on a list. But I will do anything I can to represent the neighbors in Ward 1 and do anything I can to make our street safe for Lynnfield Street, our neighbors, our school areas. I will be an advocate for that.
Sean, could I just rebut that?
Sure,
briefly?
30 seconds.
She made a point that there's a long list for signs for slow children, danger. I'm not aware of anybody waiting for it. If anybody out here or anybody calls me, and I'm very accessible, I will return my call. Anyone that requests that sign has never had to wait. If you called the DPW and waited, you should have called me, because that's not a difficult issue to get a sign up. We can get it up within a week. Thank you.
Okay, this will go to Ms. Plunkett first. Ms. Plunkett, looking at basic city services, trash collection, groundskeeping, storm cleaning, infrastructure improvements, do Ward 1 residents get their fair share for their tax dollar, and are there any areas that need improvement?
I think this is the biggest difference between Councilor Lozey and myself, would be constituent services. Our DPW is understaffed and it's under budgeted. I will be a strong voice for the residents. We need a plan in place for the DPW to fund. The police department and the fire department had a plan in place to increase their staff, and that's what happened. People are on a waiting list, months and months. I have been told by neighbors that people have been on a waiting list for over a year for basic city services, for potholes, for damaged sidewalks, for branches hitting their houses. It's ridiculous, it's unacceptable. Ward 1 residents are paying their taxes and they're not receiving the services. As your ward councilor, you will receive those services because I will not stop until that happens.
Councilor Lozey?
Thank you. Again, I can't promise that a pothole or a sidewalk or a street will be repaired as quickly as putting up a slow children sign, but I can tell you that the DPW has its problems. There has not been any hiring in several years. The equipment is in disrepair. We do need a capital improvement program. I have been to the mayor. I'm the chairman of the City Council Department of Public Works. We have had meetings annually. We've invited the mayor. We've stressed to the mayor the importance of having the equipment that our DPW needs to do the work required for quality of life. And as far as getting them done, most of them are done. If you have something that you've been waiting over a year for, please call me. And I have literature in the back here with my website, my phone number. I'm accessible. You call me and I'll be sure to get back to you, and we can work together with that. And I am a strong voice for Ward 1, and I'll continue to be that strong voice if I'm reelected. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Lozey, this one will go to you first. Do you have any concern about the planned overhaul of Wyoma Square? To what degree is parking a problem for these businesses? And would you support the city expanding the parking lot behind the business strip that includes Rolly's Tavern and the Lazy Dog, and opening up another access point to that lot?
Wow, in 2 minutes? Okay, the Wyoma Square project, I'm very proud to have been a voice advocating with our state legislature to get a $5.5 million bond for Wyoming Square. I'm proud of the fact that I also advocated for $700,000 in state, federal grants that totally overhauled Flax Pond Park. What you see when you drive by now is an aerator with a gazebo and a totally new park. Once this project is complete in 1 year's time, over $5 million, all new roadway, curbing, sidewalks, greenery, major traffic flow improvement. There's, I don't have time to go into the details about those improvements, but I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody that has questions about it. I'm excited. This is the gateway to Lynn, not just the gateway or downtown of Ward 1, which it is, but it's the gateway to the city. And we can be proud of this when it's complete. And I think that's pretty good. That I don't know about the rest of the city, but I'm not seeing millions of dollars in roadway work across the city. I'm seeing it right here in Ward 1, and I'm proud of that. And as far as the parking lot, I'm in support of enlarging that parking lot in the back to help our businesses. We need to bring more people to Lynn, and I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Ms. Plunkett, any thoughts?
I actually agree with Councilor Lozey on this. I think the work, I feel badly for the Ward 1 businesses that are currently being affected by the construction, so I would love to just put a shout out to every single person. I ask you to join me. Go to Rowley's, go to the Lazy Dog, go to Four Winds. Please support our Ward 1 businesses. If it takes 5 or 6 minutes longer to get a parking spot, please take that extra time. We need to support them. I'm also in favor of the parking lot. Anything we can do to expand this area, make it accessible, have more people being able to park, get in and out easily, that's a wonderful thing, and I agree 100%. Anything we can do to make it easier, I'm completely in support of.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question, and Ms. Plunkett, it's your turn to answer first. So this is about Gannon Golf Course. As you know, proposals are due in just 17 days for management of Gannon. Most believe the Gannon Building Association, which has operated the course for the past decade, has done an incredible job maintaining it. Yet an association member recently noted that major investment is needed to replace its decade-old irrigation in other projects, but that the annual lease payments the association has made to the city, none of that money has been reinvested into the course. Are you concerned conditions at Gannon could deteriorate if the city increasingly counts on it as a revenue stream?
I live right down the street from the Gannon Golf Course. This is a fabulous asset to Ward 1, but to the entire city of Lynn. And I'm confident, regardless of what happens, that Gannon Golf Course will remain and be one of the beautiful landmarks here. I know the lease is up on November 30th, which is in order per the Attorney General. I have a lot of respect for the Gannon Building Association. They've run that place for a long, long time, and they've done so successfully. I hope that they submit a proposal. I know that it's going out to bid, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Gannon Building Association will also submit a proposal and put that out to bid. I would love to see them continue to work on that.
Thank you. Councilor Lewis?
Thank you, Sean. I want to thank the Gannon Building Association for the wonderful work and the great job they've done at Gannon. I've worked with that association. For example, in the last 7 years, I've implemented my Canada Goose Egg Addling program with a permit from the Fish and Wildlife. We've managed to reduce the numbers of Canada geese on the course to 1/3 of what they used to be. But as far as the Gannon goes, I have an idea, and I've written a letter to the Park Commission and the mayor of this city regarding setting up a revolving account. Out of the monies that we collect for that lease, there needs to be a lockbox, a safe revolving account that will ensure the integrity of our jewel of a golf course. And it can't be just a token amount of money, it needs to be significant. And I propose it would be $200,000 out of the lease amount that goes into this account, and over 5 years, that's $1 million. We want to, when I took office, we had just finished looking at what happened again in the previous years, 2 years, and it was run by a firm that ran it into the ground. And fortunately, the Gannon Building Association took over and brought that course back to where we see it today. I'm a golfer, I enjoy it. It is a jewel of the city, and we need to maintain the integrity of that golf course. And that's what I'll do as your counselor. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, Councilor Lozey, this goes to you first. Concerning Union Hospital, In July of 2011, you mentioned you were, quote, deeply concerned about North Shore Medical Center's move to locate a 17-bed inpatient pediatric psychiatric unit there to treat children ages 3 to 17. 2 years later, do you have any concerns about Union Hospital? And the big picture is Lynn and Ward 1 in particular are fortunate to have Union Hospital in its midst.
Thank you for that question, Sean, because I don't feel that my entire question was given or quoted in the paper. I was deeply concerned that we might lose core health medical services at Union Hospital. Union Hospital is the largest Ward 1 employer. Since that time, I've met on a regular basis with CEO, President Bob Norton, Vice President of Strategy and Communication, Pam Lawrence. I've spoken with the new Communication Director, Lori Long. I'm in contact with these people. I'm actually meeting with them next week. I'm concerned, as many of us are, not just the people that work there, but the residents that live around there. And we want to ensure that we continue to have a great medical services and Union Hospital located right here in our Ward 1, that they continue to stay here. And thank you for that question and for clarifying what I was concerned with, not that it was bringing in juvenile psychiatric here, which is not a concern, and I'm not distressed at that. I'm glad. I even spoke with the department head. His name escapes me right now, but a doctor, the department head, and he was very assuring and took me around and showed me what it consisted of, and I was very much impressed. Thank you, Sean.
Ms. Plunkett?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. The question for you, Ms. Plunkett, would be, as elected councilor, how closely will you work to keep Union Hospital open? And, and just your thoughts about it.
Union Hospital,
continue
100%. I will 100% advocate for Union Hospital. I spent a lot of time in Union Hospital. I'm a 4-year breast cancer survivor. I have blood work there. People at Union Hospital are amazing, and this again, a huge asset to the city of Lynn in Ward 1. The all-day, all-care VNA, PACE, elder affairs, wellness classes, yoga classes, wellness classes available at Union Hospital. I don't know all the details about the pediatric psych beds, psychiatric wards.
Yes,
Anything that we can do here in Ward 1 to help any child receive services, I am 100% in support of.
Thank you. 2 more questions from me, and then we're going to let you each ask a question of one another, and then move on to closing. Next question, and Ms. Plunkett, just go to you first. Has animal control been effective in Ward 1? Specifically, has there been appropriate enforcement of dog ordinances, and also the ban on feeding Canada geese at the ponds? And Councilor Losey referred to as egg addling at flax to help control the population. And to what extent does this problem persist?
One problem that I found out last night at 9:30 while I was letting my dog out is there was a coyote on the front lawn. So that's probably something that we'll have to look into here at Ward 1. I commend Councilor Losey for the addling process. And I think he's worked hard to do the addling process. I don't know much about it, but I think that's putting a Band-Aid on a large wound. I have been in contact with universities. There are other alternative methods to dealing with Canadian geese. There are many that you could add, fences and landscapes and shrubs. There are many different ways to eliminate geese, actually deal with this and get rid of them on a permanent basis. I do not have all the answers. I am not a Canadian geese addling expert, but I guarantee everybody in Ward 1 that I will look further and try to step it up and take it to the next level. I keep going down there. It's filthy. It's a health concern. My children wouldn't be allowed to be down there when they were younger with all of the droppings of the geese. So again, I commend his efforts, but I want to reach out and take it to a new level and see what else is available. I've done some research. There's a lot available, and I will continue to look into it.
Thank you, Ms. Plunkett.
I'm sorry, Sean, could you repeat that question?
Sure. To the crux of it, is animal control been effective in Ward 1, specifically with regard to enforcement of dog ordinances, and also has the ban on feeding Canada geese been effective, and is that problem with the geese under control?
Thank you, Sean. Yes, I have sponsored various vicious dog ordinance amendments. Anybody that has a dog that's determined to be vicious, the dog officer can issue a determination requiring that that dog be muzzled, be fenced in, and that the homeowner would be required to carry a liability rider. As far as the Canada geese, they continue to be a problem. Are they as bad as they were 7 years ago? I think if anybody here that's a member of Gannon or that golfs at Gannon will know quickly, when you're at the 15th, 16th hole, there's 1/3 of Canada geese there than there was 7 years ago. If anybody's here from the Flax Pond Association, you know that it's been effective. I've addled over 700 eggs in 7 years. It's been effective. Does it continue to be a problem? Yes. And my opponent did mention other alternatives. There are humane methods of putting them down, and the city of Healy does that. I haven't proposed that.
That's not what I'm proposing.
There is I have spoken with the mayor that I've asked that there be netting placed on Magnolia Ave. We've had estimates drawn out. The estimates range from $11,000 to $20,000. I feel after studying, observing these, they're beautiful creatures. I'm up close with them every year, and they are beautiful, but we need to have manageable numbers, under a dozen. And right now, they're a problem, and I hope that the mayor will agree with me, and she will find the monies that we can put that netting up and eliminate it, because currently, you can't even practice on that field. It's so deplorable with the geese problems. But I'm confident that with that netting, we're going to eliminate that problem, and I thank you.
Thank you. I guess there will be two more questions from me, and then before we get to your question. Next, and this will go to Councilor Lozey first. In recent years, running and fitness clubs used Lynn Woods. Trails have grown considerably. Arts After Hours produces theater in the woods. They've done that. They did that this summer and last. And young musicians have produced day-long music festivals in the woods. Should more be done to promote and expand these activities, particularly those centered on health and fitness, or is there a concern that overuse could pose maintenance and public safety problems?
Thank you. First off, I'm not concerned at all, Sean. I think that if there is a concern, then we need to tackle that problem, because nothing should prevent residents of Lynn from enjoying Lynn Woods, both with athletic activities. My daughter is a member of track and goes up there frequently, and I'm not a runner myself, but I do play tennis on occasion. I think it's wonderful what has been happening with the theater in the woods, and we need to continue to encourage this. We have a vibrant arts downtown, and I enjoy going to their shows. I'm going to enjoy going to see The Evil Dead once again this month. Looking forward to that. So briefly, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think what's happened has been wonderful, and I would encourage and urge everybody here that if you haven't gone, you should. It's a great time. Thank you.
And Ms. Plunkett?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure thing. Just should the city do more to promote and encourage activities in Lynn Woods, particularly health and fitness activities and things like the day-long music festivals and theater in the woods?
Absolutely, absolutely. Any activity that can happen up in the woods. I was actually at the Hodgepodge, is what it was called. That started 4 years ago. My son and members of his band, the Dirty Floorboards, actually played there. 4 years, and I want to commend the youth here in Ward 1. No counselor, no adult ran that hodgepodge. That was run by 2 high school kids 4 years ago, and there were 3 bands that participated. Here we are, 4 years later. I think there were 20 bands, and there was food, music. They were raising money. They actually reached out and got sponsors. Very proud. My husband was one of those sponsors. I just couldn't be more impressed by a group of kids that started this. They started a wonderful thing. I encourage it. I will be there in full support, doing anything I can. And as far as, I think it was athletic, absolutely. They have races there every Wednesday night. I've been there all summer long. I was embarrassed actually because I live about a mile away. I didn't realize that they had these kind of races. I was thrilled to go. I've been to about 4 of them. They were amazing. I will support it, advocate it, do anything I can to encourage as much activity up there as possible.
Thank you. And the next question, from the last one from me, we'll go to Council Lozey first. Could you define 2 or 3 citywide issues that you believe are most pressing, challenging in the city over the next year or so?
Well, the one that comes to mind quickly is the litter and trash problem. I sponsored a home rule petition, currently under state law for illegal disposal. It's a $300 fine. That means if somebody were to do a roof job and find a darkened dead-end street and dump the old shingles there, the worst that would happen to them is a $300 fine under the state statute. My home rule petition that I passed through the city council, signed by the mayor, went to the legislature, passed the legislature, was signed by the governor, and now is law. Will anybody caught illegally trash, dumping, anything, will be fined up to 3 times the cost of cleanup, up to $5,000. That extra money will go into an account, a fund, that can be used for cleaning up our parks and areas of the city that need cleanup. It will go towards a hazardous household day, disposal day. It can also be used for cameras and locations that we have these midnight dumpers. And believe me, there are problems citywide, not just in Ward 1 as well. I've gotten complaints about dumping. So I'm very proud that I sponsored that legislation that will deter future dumpers or people illegally disposing of anything, whatever that might be. The other issue is, I'm happy to say that I was a part of the council that voted to move the high-tension wires on the Lynnway, opening up hundreds of acres of waterfront property. I'm as disappointed as you are that nothing has happened yet. But that doesn't mean something's not going to happen. It will, and it's going to be beautiful. Because I've heard some talk that there's development groups looking at $200 to $300 million projects down there. That's going to be a beautiful waterfront. I've been down there several times. The view is fabulous, and I think it's wonderful that Lynn has it. Thank you.
Ms. Plunkett?
Could you repeat? I know
Sure.
you're gonna repeat it
Just
again.
the 2 or 3 issues that you consider the most pressing and challenging facing the city over the next year, 2 years.
Okay. Pressing to me in the immediate Ward 1 area, again, constituent services, I don't think enough's been done. I will be a much stronger voice and advocate to make sure that you're receiving basic city services in a timely fashion. That will be a priority. Another priority, I've done some research, I've been going to city council meetings, I've been learning a whole lot. I'm a brand new candidate, I am not a 10-year incumbent. I'm learning as I go, and I'm thrilled to learn. I love a challenge. I think our police force, there's a magic number of 225. That's the magic number. That's the amount of police officers I think we need to have on the street. And that number comes because of the population size of the city of Lynn. There are 90,000 residents. So I would love to be part of that effort to see that increase. I have to say also waterfront. I think I can agree with all taxpayers in the city of Lynn. That property's been empty too long. We need to improve that. We need to put businesses here in the city of Lynn. And I can't wait to get started to do whatever I can on the city council to make sure businesses come into Lynn. We make it easy for businesses to come in Lynn. And we ask as councilors, what can we do to make sure that you stay here? That would be my top 3.
And now is your opportunity to maybe cover anything I might not have covered. Ms. Plunkett, if you have a question you would like to ask of Councilor Lozey.
Councilor Lozey, you voted to approve a budget that cut the funding of the DPW. You did not join with fellow councilors to reject the budget and ask for more money for the DPW. Why?
My opponent is pointing out something that on an 11-0 vote, we voted for a budget for the city of Lynn that if we rejected would have meant very imperative fiscal problems. I'm not happy that the budget was not submitted fully funding the DPW. As I said earlier, I'm the chairman of the Department of Public Works. on the city council, and I've strongly advocated for fully funding, not just fully funding, but additional funding for the DPW, because we have not been getting the services in as quick a manner as we should be. And unfortunately, I'm a city councilor. I'm not the mayor. I feel that the DPW has done a great job. They've done an excellent job, and I can tell you I have a list of no less than 50 requests that have been performed by the DPW very ably in the last 3-4 months. So we give them an awful lot of work, and unfortunately they are understaffed, and I'd like to see that more staffed, and I'm going to strongly advocate, as I have been. I'll continue to do that. So thank you for that question.
Can I rebut?
You can rebut. We'll give you a minute to rebut because we're running a little bit early.
Great. Once again, the job of a city councilor is to vote. It's to represent the constituents in your ward. I understand that you're not the mayor, but as a councilor, you have the right to vote. Several councilors sat at that meeting, and they said, let's stand together and reject this budget, send it back, because there is clearly not enough money in the DPW. Councilor Lozey did not stand with those councilors. He approved that budget. I would not have approved that budget.
Okay, Councilor Lozey, I'll let you.
That's not entirely accurate. It was an 11-0 vote. All of the councilors voted, and I didn't stand apart from my colleagues and expressing our displeasure with the mayor. And I think, in retrospect, Al DiVigilio, former mayor, was right. Maybe we should have cut the mayor's budget, because we can't add. My opponent needs to understand, the city council cannot add $1 to the budget. We can only cut. What was presented to us, we had to approve it. If we didn't, then there would have been disastrous results. I'm not happy about it. I'm not pleased. And I think that the mayor is starting to listen and hear what the problems are. The mayor has had difficulties. The public safety is paramount, of paramount importance. She has done a very good job with restoring the fire and the police levels. And unfortunately, the budget, she's not able to do what we would like her to do. However, that's what I'm about. I'm finding innovative, unique ways to fund things, like Gowdy Park. Ward 1, almost all of Ward 1 is not in an area that's eligible for federal or state funds.
Okay, Councilor Lozey, if you'd like to ask a question of Ms. Plunkett.
Thank you. Yes, a few weeks ago at the Latino Business Association meeting, my opponent was asked a question, a yes or no question on 1 a.m. bar closing. And at the time, she was uncertain and wasn't able to answer that question. And I'd like to know what her answer would be now, and an explanation what her stance is.
Thank you. I appreciate that question. I did attend a candidate forum at the Latino Business Association. I was asked, do you feel that all bars in the city of Lynn should close at 1 o'clock? Yes or no? I refuse to answer that with a yes or no answer. The reason I refuse to do that is because it is not a yes or no question to me. I did not feel that it was. As your counselor, I will make well-educated, well-informed, well-researched. I will not spit out yes. I will not spit out no. You don't want your counselor to do that. You want them to research it and listen to both sides. I am all for economic development. I would love to see everybody open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and make as much possible money as you can for the city of Lynn. That being said, I have reached out to the police department and heard that there's a lot of safety concerns as well that interfere between the hours of 1 and 3 in the morning when bars are open. Again, I don't know how you all feel, but to me, that was not a yes or no question. I was very proud of my answer. I will, and to answer your question now, because I've done so much research, I've done a lot of research, I will support for now, the 1 o'clock closing of the bars. That is what is on the books as now, as the rule. If this topic comes up again at the Lynn City Council, and I am a member of the Lynn City Council, I would love to revisit it, listen to the business owners, listen to the police department, and together with the entire city council, make a well-informed, educated decision. That's what I will do for every single person, every single time I decide to make a vote on the Lynn City Council.
And Councilor Lozey, if you'd like to respond?
Yes, I'm glad to hear that, after a few weeks, that my opponent has come to the realization that the chief of the police department is not in favor of a 2 a.m. closing. And furthermore, I am in favor of the 1 a.m. closing, but there are exceptions. There are times when restaurants or on certain holidays like New Year's Eve where they could probably remain open and they can secure a temporary 2 a.m. closing from the License Commission. I'm confident in our License Commission that they'll do the right thing. Thank you.
Great, we're going to move on to closing statements now, and I know Councilor Lozey, you opened, so I guess we're going to, for closing statements, we're going to give Ms. Plunkett a chance to go first.
Okay, thank you again, Sean. Thank you to the Knights of Columbus for hosting this. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to the viewers at home who are watching. And a very special thank you to all of the supporters on the Deb Plunkett campaign. Our team started out with a handful of workers back in April, and it has grown. It has grown into a positive force for change in Ward 1. I am very proud of the hard work and dedication that the Plunkett team has shown during this election. These are the qualities that I'm going to bring as the next Ward 1 councilor to the City Council. On Tuesday, November 5th, you're going to see the name Debbie Plunkett next to Ward 1 City Councilor. And you need to ask yourself the question, why should I vote for Debbie Plunkett? Vote for me because I am honest, hardworking, professional, and open-minded. Vote for me because I will conduct precinct meetings and address neighborhood concerns. Vote for me because I understand that the taxpayers being on a list at the DPW for over a year for basic city services is ridiculous and unacceptable. Vote for me because I will advocate for the responsible employer ordinance. Vote for me because I will advocate for 225 police officers on our force. That's the number we need for the city of 90,000 residents. Vote for me because I will work with city leaders to update zoning laws and entice business into the city of Lynn. Vote for me because I will advocate for businesses on our waterfront. Again, I believe I speak for everybody in this city. These properties have been empty too long. Vote for me because I will continue to support and rebuild and the renovations of our schools. Schools, top-notch schools, are what are going to bring people into the city, and that's what's going to keep people in our city. Vote for me because I will be available, accountable, and accessible for the 24-month term of a city councilor. Vote for me on Tuesday, November 5th, because I can promise you no one will work harder than I will. I thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you, Ms. Plunkett. And we're going to move on to Councilor Lozey's closing statement. But can I just ask the candidates during the intermission if you wouldn't mind, Patrick Koya from the Knights has asked me to have the Ward 1 candidates and the mayoral candidates take a photo in front of the stage with the Knights, the Grand Knight Ralph Jamison. And if you wouldn't mind hanging around. Don't pull it right after. But Councilor Lozey, you have up to 2.5 minutes for closing.
Thank you, everybody here. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for what a great turnout. This is really wonderful to see. We should do it more often. Not that I want an opponent every time, but I want to thank my family. They've been wonderful to me. Campaigning, people ask me, why do you do it? And I tell them it's not unpleasant. It's not unpleasant. It's actually nice to get out and talk to people and meet people. But it is time consuming and it's hard on my family. So I appreciate what they've done for me and all this time it's taken. I enjoyed being counselor. At a young age, my father was a city councilor, and he taught me at a young age the value of giving back to the community. And this is the way we've raised our children. My sons and I, we've taken trips to Mexico. We've built houses for poor. And I'm sorry for getting emotional. I shouldn't have got into it, but I'm proud of my family. And I want to give back to this community, and this is what I was taught, and I'm going to teach my children. I enjoy this job, and I want to continue to work hard for this Ward 1 in the city of Lynn. I feel that I have done a good job. I have a lot of accomplishments, and I have a lot of goals. As I mentioned earlier, the wind turbine that will be coming up on the Lynnway very shortly. That's going to, I've been the council rep on the water and sewer. We've had 3 straight years of no water rate increases. I want to bring solar panels to Lynn public buildings like Lynn Tech. This is the wave of the future. We need to bring this in. We need to adapt and welcome this technology and utilize it. I want to close with just saying that I'm a worker, I advocate, and I seek innovative ways to do things. Like I mentioned Gowdy Park, that was done at no cost to the taxpayer, and I'm proud of that, and that's what I do as a counselor. Thank you.
And that concludes the Ward 1 portion. Thanks to both candidates, and you can all talk amongst yourselves for 10 minutes.